reading a book and just, I get down to the end of these things, you know, just want to finish it, right? Only 2 more chapters. How does it end? How does it end?
I did ask them, spoke with them. In this case, the son is going to be more or less the interpreter for the lady who's going to be at the hearing, the in-person.
Okay.
So I spoke with the son, that he affirmed that this would be fine for us to go ahead and do the phone hearing before then.
Okay. All right. Call for
Okay.
order of the Aransas County Appraisal Review Board. It is June the 10th, 2021 at 8:30. Do we have a quorum?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, we do.
We have a quorum. We are open to protest here.
All right, our first case number is 909. Last name Vega. It will be a phone hearing.
Okay. Do we have a district representative?
He said he would be here. It will be Mike Soto. Let me know when you want me to call.
I guess we can go ahead.
Okay.
He'll be here.
Hello?
Ms. Vega,
Yes.
this is Charlie Powers at the Appraisal Review Board.
Oh, okay. Let's give me just 1 second. I'm going to kind of the printer with the grandkids at water theme park. I'm sorry. I got sick. Okay, so right here. So,
Okay, we've got some administrivia to go through beforehand. Just follow along with me, and I have some questions toward the end.
okay, no problem.
Okay, we're opening a hearing on case ID 2021-909. Account 22675. 875? 22875. Sorry. This hearing is being recorded. We are the Appraisal Review Board that will be hearing your protest today. We do not work for the appraisal district. We are appointed to perform an independent review of the protest. The Comptroller's Office provides an electronic survey for you to offer feedback about your experience today. That may be accessed at the Appraisal District Office or online at surveymonkey.com/r/survey-ARB. Survey is voluntary. You also have the right to appeal our decision. Appeal information will be provided to you with our determination. That will be a letter that's mailed to you after the conclusion of this hearing. In accordance with Tax Code Section 4145H, all written material that has not been provided must be provided at this time. I'm under the assumption that we have all your material, your evidence. Is that correct?
Oh, yes, I sent you a 2-page letter and
Okay, that's
you
fine.
should have them.
Very good, thank you.
Thank
ARB
you.
members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest and are signing affidavits to that effect. I, Charles Powers, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F.
I, Robert Dayton, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F.
I, Bill Duck, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66.
I, Scott Waggers, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F.
All testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath. Ma'am, I'm assuming that you're under oath for the duration of this hearing as you signed the affidavit. Do you understand? You understand?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay. Mike?
My name is Michael Flood. I do solemnly swear affirm the testimony shall be placed in review for the Aransas County Appraisal District, correct?
Ma'am, do you hold an appraiser's license in the state of Texas?
No, I do not.
Okay. Do you have available to you the hearing procedure times chart?
Yes, I do.
Okay, then you know that you can go first or the district can go first. What would be your choice?
I'd like the district to go first.
Okay, Mike?
Sure. Subject property is 419 Palmetto Point Road in Holiday Beach area. What you'll see from our evidence here is a property that's worth 121,000 and change. We'll go to that car. And you can see that it's a regular home. It's a 4FD home, which is just a 4 is the mid class, just an average home there. The land element alone is 115,000. There's 10,000 square feet of land associated with that at 1150, so that's 115,000 just for that. Moving forward, you can see the pictometry imagery of the subject property. You can see it's a pretty cool setup. They have like a little boat ramp. We've seen these situations before where it's a really neat setup. They do have a canal that they're on, and you can see that again, it's a pretty modest home. It's a 4 home, class 4 home, and they have a little boat ramp here. Moving on, the two things that the protester market value and equal appraisal with other properties. The subject is 1,430 square feet. You can see that the very first comp is 1,266 square feet, and that one sold for 330. It's on the same road. It's at 551 Palmetto Point Road, 330,000. It's newer than the subject for sure. We show that when appropriately adjusted for all of the elements, including size and effective age and the size of the lot, you see that there's a valuation of 265,000 and change. Comp number 2 sold for 300,000. This is a very late sale, January 2020. That one was 1,352 square feet. It's a better class than the subject. You know, the subject has better land. There's an adjustment there, but it's also smaller than the subject. That renders a value of 254 and change when compared to the subject. Moving forward to comp number 3, this is from channel view, another 4FP, just like the subject. That one sold for 265 and change in August 20. That one was only 780 square feet. Again, sold for 265. You can see that the land is very close. One is 115,000, the other one is 17. The other one is 97,000 and change. So there's a very small land adjustment there. It's newer than the subject for sure, but that one renders a value of 232 and change. Comp number 4 is 116 channel view. That one sold for 222. When you look at all of the differences, both for the size, it has the same class or within a subclass or another. It's better from effective age. You look at that, and that renders a value of 237. When you look at all of those sales, that renders a value of 246,002 for the median value, which supports the value that we have for the subject of 236. Answering the question about equity. So what are things, how are they appraised in and about that subject property owner's area? So if we're moving to the equity comp grid, you can see that on sale finish, this one is appraised at 240. It's also a 4FP. It's about the same size. It's a little bit smaller. It's about the same age. And that renders a value of 230 and change when you look with all the differences, both for size, land, you know, all of those things, all of the different attributes of both porches and everything else. The next one that you have is on the same road, 437 Palmetto Point. That's appraised at 337,000. It's also a 4FD. It's bigger than the subject. It's newer than the subject. It has equivalent land as the subject. That renders a value of 288 and change. Comp number 3, I believe this is our last equity comp. This is also on channel view. You can see that the land of the comparable is a little bit better than the subject, so there's an adjustment there. About 100 square feet difference in the main area, same classification of the home, and you can see that it's a little bit newer than the subject. That renders a value of $270,000 when compared to the subject. You can see that the 270 supports the 236 that we have on the property.
Okay, Peggy, you have 2 minutes for protester cross-examination and then 5 minutes for your presentation. So I'm going to give you 7 minutes on the timer here.
Okay, no problem. Thank you for your comments and providing those. But every comp, and while I realize sales upon, I truly do. All the comps on the sales grid, my actual year built is 1972, sale effective 1972. Then nothing, all the comps are newer. Comp 1 was 2000 with zero effective of 2010. They have downstairs, and this is the sales grid, they have downstairs, concrete, newer. Comp 2 is the same scenario, 1980, built 2005, newer, downstairs, concrete garage. I think we're not comparing things or comparing my property properly. And there may be not many to compare to. One thing I did notice on one of the land sales grids, again, all your comps are all newer than mine and concrete. I have no concrete on my driveway. I have no, my concrete, all my sheds were blown away of Harvey and they're uneven. And let's see, your equity grids, you had a lot of larger deductions, like comp 2, it was over 48,000 of adjustments. Again, they're all newer or all bigger and all created nicer. I don't have that. Every single one of the comps, again, 2005 year built, I'm still on 1972. Then land, anyway, my boat slip takes up most of that one lot and it's falling apart. As you can see, I sent proposals to even get that fixed. We're talking almost 20,000. So again, I appreciate the district, but I don't think they're comparing properly to my home. It is not concreted. It is not. I have nothing downstairs where a lot of these have rooms downstairs. I lost the bathroom I had downstairs. I can't put anything back. So again, they're not a true comparison. And again, not many have both flips, and mine is all broken down. Again, the district did not, in my mind, provide comparables to mine because there are none. Okay.
Okay.
Did you get my pictures as well?
I did, and I have a question. When were these pictures taken?
Okay, these were, let's see, the one, because I didn't have it, I provided last year once. My boat, nothing's changed. The one was of, and they're still the same. These were taken probably, the boat slip was at the time of the hurricane, because I could see some kind of cooler or something there. But you can look at it through district and show you. Everything, nothing has changed. It's the same thing. So yes, these pictures are below. Every year they're the same thing. It's nothing's changed because I've done nothing.
What was the answer to the question? What were you thinking?
Well, it sounded like several years ago, but he says nothing has changed. Some were several years ago, some were recent.
Can we get it? Well, I'll ask the question in my process.
Like I said, if anything is worse shape, especially the boat slip, it's really
That was
worse.
That wasn't the
But
question.
I didn't have a means of sending you the pictures in time, so I had them on my phone from the hurricane. So, but I did send last year because I brought out the cement from all the sheds. They're all on level, and the pipes still sticking out, and you can look at still cake. Nothing. All we've done is pretty pretty much since last year, my father passed, so all we've done is really almost finished the painting, and I haven't even pulled the boards down from underneath. Those are still the same.
Okay. All right, anything else?
No, again, just, I think my comparisons are not appropriate because nothing's like mine. And when you sell your home, yeah, when you've got all this extra room downstairs and you've got it all cemented and very nice, I hope to get there one day, but that's not the case. We're just trying to get it wherever we can go. And so we're not there, and I don't even know what it cost me to cement it smooth with all those sheds. Like I said, it was covered with, I had sheds all along. Well, they're all gone, and then I can't go. And I have time still sticking up. I have them plugged. So we're just not there. And I don't know when we'll be, because I don't know what that costs me.
Okay. All right, you'll have more time later.
Okay, appreciate it.
So Mike, then you have 2 minutes for district court examination, 2 minutes for rebuttal.
Right. So as far as the house is concerned, it's complete? Like, are you done with all your repairs?
The repair, yes, sir. It's
Okay,
more
thank you.
cosmetic. I haven't finished painting. As you see the underneath those boards, then I used to paint the,
Okay, sounds
I
great.
call the deck, but I haven't done that
Thank you.
because that's why I haven't removed the board, because hopefully they'll catch the paint and I won't have to all over.
Okay, thank you. And in answer to the question, when were the pictures taken?
Mhm. You should have last year's pictures too. There was
Yes, ma'am. What was, the question was, when were those pictures that you submitted taken?
the cement underneath, the uneven cement were from last year.
Okay,
The one, the overhang with the board, that's last year.
okay,
The one that shows that I have no cement, you see my barbecue pit, that was from the hurricane.
okay,
And the boat slip, which is in worse condition, even worse, that was as of the hurricane.
okay. Okay, so those
But
are all,
I did submit some last year,
okay,
the driveway, and I submitted the boat slip last year.
okay, thank you for that. So for the record, these are all old photos. The subject property owner testified that other than cosmetic for the house itself, all the repairs are done. You know, the thing is that I didn't even, it's got 1972 and it's 1972. Do you have hardy plank on the outside or is it frame siding?
I have hardy plank.
Okay. Did you used to have frame? Did you used to have wood?
Yes, I did, sir,
Okay.
but I changed it with the hardy plank.
Yeah, I haven't even changed the effective age due to a remodeling event. This is not a 1972 home. It's something better than that now. But just from a re-siding and re-roofing event, we should have picked up the differences, and all we did was just change it from siding to a fee, and there's some kind of effective change. These materials are better than what was there before, or they're at least replaced. Can you tell me a little bit about your boat slip?
The one that's cracked completely, not usable. It takes up almost the whole lot. The other one's not taken up by the septic tank. It's caving in. And in fact, Mr. Campbell, he's got the cheapest quote, which he can't do anything till fall. He said it could. He's concerned how it's going to be able to fix it because it's sunk in so much on the side that's adjacent to the next property owner that he's concerned of how he can fix it without messing up there. So the boat is in very, very severe bad shape.
Okay, and what was your estimate for repair of the bulkhead around the boat slip? Because we don't have any value attributable to this. I mean, we don't have.
The boat split. Oh, I don't to fix it. I got a from a 15,000, I sent one written one by, I forget his name. It was like 15,800, and then I got another one for 20 something, 28.
Yeah, we have a boat ramp, $2,500, $2,550.
Yeah,
What is that? What is that?
I think this is it here.
I guess my concern is if the value of my land is taken up. I
Boat
will
ramp.
that goes that maybe I'm
It's a
not
boat
being
ramp.
hard.
We don't have to do all-
It's the land that
That's
I'm
all we
more
have is
concerned. Okay.
This is 1,500. Is that my whole 4 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I was trying to get to. She has an estimate for $15,000, for which we only have $2,550 attributed to that whole thing, so. If there was an adjustment to be made to anything that was there, it'd be like a shed, it'd be the same equivalent of like, my shed is all beat up. Okay, then you can remove the whole value of the shed. What is that value? $2,550. It doesn't change the fact that she has physical construction that needs to be done. It's just how does the market react to that thing? And they don't react to that thing in the same way. They could react more, that, cost is not the same as the market reaction to it. All we have is a boat ramp, people can call it, okay, it should be a boat slip, boat ramp. I have $2,500 attributable to that thing.
All right, ma'am, you have 2 minutes for rebuttal if you need it. So,
My main concern is not so much the value of the boat, but which to me should be zero because it's unusable, not usable at all. My more concern is the value of the land that boat slip is on. I'm being charged like everybody else, which I totally understand the market value, market for buying, but I should not be attributed even the whatever for that land because it's not usable and the land is not any good with that boat slip on it. So I'm more concerned with the land that the boat slip sits on. It's not a usable land. And I should not be charged, even though you are discounting some of that, my land, it's not enough because it takes almost the whole lot.
okay,
Okay?
anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay,
And then it can the cement people, you're showing me nice things and they're all cement and I'm not to do that. I just don't have the funds right now to do it. Eventually I want to cement it. But I can't build downstairs when you're comparing me. The people have things that are built downstairs, extra rooms, sheds, everything. I have no sheds and uneven concrete. So if you put us by next to each other and you're charging us the same thing, you know what? The person's not going to buy my house. They're going to buy the one that's nicer, not mine. Thank you.
okay. All right, Mike, you have 1 minute to close.
Yeah, in closing, what I would say is to answer the question, all of the elements that you said, those people have, and then fill in the blank. That's what the adjustment criteria is. They take into account every difference. So if she's saying a statement like, they have a downstairs space and I don't have one, of course, that's adjusting the grid. The grid showed 270 and they shoot 246. As far as the boat slip or boat ramp or that area that's there, it's always a conundrum for us because obviously it's not land, but obviously it has some value. It's always been a difficult thing for us to actually attribute value. She has some damage. We only have $2,500 associated with that boat ramp. Maybe it's a boat slip rather than a ramp. Okay. If a person wanted to take off the land, then why even have one there? Why would a person go through the expense? They think it's valuable to some extent. Okay, that's all I got.
All right, ma'am, you have one minute to close. Any final thoughts you'd like to tell us?
Sure, and I disagree that, yeah, maybe you feel that it's value, but active by this day right now, there is no value because you can't even put anything on there without maybe a boat. You put your boat in there, watch out, it may collapse on you. And that's again the thing that I'm trying to look at. I have young grandkids, so I'm concerned with that. And yes, there was adjustments taken but huge adjustments make it even comparable to mine. And in that case, they came out lower than what mine is on some of the comps. Took out one of those, I think it was like 68,000 or something, that I don't recall which one. 20,000, 30,000 adjustments. That's a lot of adjustments to try and make it equal to mine, which it is not. And it's not comparable. They're not, in my opinion. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. It's our time. Let's go to the property card. I got a question. Is the concrete on the property card that is underneath the house?
Yeah, I believe that you'll be able to see that right here. This is the covered area. It's just a covered porch, and so the PC is the covered porch. I only have PC. So the concrete down below is the value is attributable to the fact that it's covered above it. It's just that you can stand underneath it. I don't have any. This PC concrete right here is, what number is that? That's going to be the biggest number right here. 11.2, yeah.
That's
Yeah. And then you have a glass porch that's is back here, and then you just have a covered porch that's right here.
Ma'am, there is concrete underneath the house.
Yes, sir. That's where all the sheds were, and that's where the bathroom downstairs was. But nothing, the hurricane took all the sheds, and now FEMA doesn't let them build under there anymore.
So Mike, on the property card there, it says under remarks, change to a class 4 FB, central AC updated. What was that change from?
Well, the effective age remained the same. We can look at last year.
And I was curious if it was increased due to the residing and remodeling of the exterior.
Yeah, it was a 3 FB.
Okay.
But before that, it probably was, she said it was standard siding. See, it was only 60% complete last year.
Okay.
And so before that, it was probably, she said that it was a frame home, so I'm sure it was an excess, something that's.
Okay. So that explains.
Now, I don't have glass anymore. I just opened it up because I had 24 windows and those all busted. So I don't have the glass anymore. That makes any difference.
That on the porch in the back?
Yeah.
Okay, is it screened or is it just open?
No, it's just open. All I did was open it up, took the windows out and open it up. I have 24 windows all around it. So it's not
Yeah.
enclosed anymore. It's just open
Yeah,
and took the glass out.
just to be clear, these are the descriptions of what used to be there. It is PC, which is a covered porch. If it were a glass porch, it would say PG. So it's we've recognized the change, even though the description used to be that way. The driver value is PC, covered porch.
So if it were a glass porch, would it have a different type?
Yes, the type would be just like this MA stands for main area. This used to be, if you looked in years past, this was probably a G, but we just didn't take the description. This is in fact this area back here that is in C covered porch only, just like you described.
I'm having trouble with the $5,000 unit price.
I'm sorry, sir, couldn't hear you. What?
I'm just talking to the group here.
Okay, the photo.
I'm having trouble with the $5,000 unit value on the boat ramp. That's not a flat or boat slip. That's got 15,008 to repair it. And it's not usable the way it is.
And I guess my question kind of
You mean 2550?
I'm reading the card. It says 5,000.
is, yeah, but if they're 51%.
Scroll. Oh, okay. Yeah, 2550.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in reality, that's a a separate lot. It's on a double lot, so it's a separate lot, and it can't be used to build a new house or be used for anything surface wise because there is unusable boat slip on half of it, and then on the other half, she stated that there is a septic system, so you can't park cars on it, you can't park boats on it because it'll get crushed in.
Is that an active septic system? Is that the one you use?
I'm sorry, what was that?
The septic system that's on the other lot, is that the one you currently use?
Yes, it's the same one when I bought the house
Okay.
25 years
Right.
ago. So it's the same septic system.
Yes.
All I did was
No, you
put
can't get rid of
the
it.
covers on top of it.
Right, okay, thank you. That's good. Yeah, you can get rid of it.
So, yeah, so you're kind of using the full value of the lot, but it's usable for everything. It's grows grass.
Yeah.
This land.
Yeah, my lots are to me not valued at the, what, I guess we're selling that in 100,000 or 97,000, whatever you're charging.
I
Not
understand.
what I have on it. I wish
Yeah,
I
we
could build
understand.
on it like the neighbors.
Peggy,
Yeah,
Peggy,
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Peggy, we get it. We get it.
I'm all for removing the value of boat slip. Other than that, it's like everything else seems to be accurate on the card and
Let me just ask one question to the group. The market value of the land is 115,000, which is for two regular lots. They're appraised. Now you go down the block, I'm sure we'll find that they're appraised exactly the same. But this one isn't as usable as a regular lot. Because of the broken down boat slip and the fact that her septic tank is on the other lot. He has his hand raised. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike.
Except the market says something contrary to what you just said. On count number 3, there is a 10,000 square foot lot that sold for 265.
Yeah, but we don't know what's on that lot.
There's a septic on that lot.
On the one you just mentioned?
There's a septic on every lot out there. There's no sewer. So it's either on the one lot or it's on the two
Well,
lots.
we don't know that. You're
There's a-
assuming that it's on.
There's a septic on every parcel.
There's a septic, they may, don't know for sure, but they may have septic on the same lot parcel that the house is on, for example.
But this one is for the house adjacent to, it's not on that lot.
And I'm not saying, you might be right.
Can
It's
we
just-
investigate that one at least?
Sure,
Sure, let's look at it.
Because you made a claim.
go ahead.
Okay.
And I'm not disagreeing with you, I'm just saying we don't know for sure.
54851.
Which one is that? Oh,
You think the septic's right here?
Well, who knows? I don't know, like,
No, okay, so you think the septic's right here on this area?
Could be.
Okay.
Well,
I'm,
All right, whatever.
that looks like a pristine lot.
Of course
I
it
mean,
does.
it's great.
Of course it does.
Hers is not.
There's a septic system on that property. And it's not under the driveway. That's the point. It's gotta be out here somewhere, guys.
well,
Okay.
okay, so is this, I don't know where the
The
lines are.
actual-
That's
yeah.
the real lines, or it's over
I
here.
think it's actually moved over, if you wanna know the truth. If you go just straight down. Unless the property owner for that one owns the adjacent property.
Well, and that's a mix, that's the point I was getting at.
882.
Where'd you go?
88222177. And then
Because
the Wombly, and then go to the next.
that there, looks like it might be a subject
The other one.
control.
Yeah, that's that is not the same property owner, and I don't know that that line is exact, but it looks pretty close because if you look at the one to the left, this house right here where the boat is, yeah, that looks like the lot line is about right. Maybe it's shifted over 10 feet or something like that to that where this little deck thing is. It looks like everything should be shifted like to this point right here. So then you would do the same thing, you know, here, but I don't know what's going on right here. This owner is not the same as this.
To me, it's a 10,000 square foot lot. I mean, it's, and I get the fact, I hear what you're saying, that it's not as usable because it's not as pristine, whatever, but on the other hand, you've got that boat slip, although it's unusable, that's a, you know, I'm all for taking that value away, but that's an attribute to that lot, I would think, if you're a builder.
Remember, you gotta pay $15,800 to make you.
Now, I'm all for marking the land down a bit to account for the fact that that's unusable.
Well, what do you think?
I'm kind of with you.
I just brought
a
the question up, because point.
What do you think?
Take the boat slips out, for sure.
Take the boat slip on?
Okay.
Take the boat slip on?
Is there any, and not that I want to add stuff, but is there any designation of the bulkhead?
No, we don't have bulkheads. I mean, maybe we should, but we don't.
Because that, okay, so taking the boat slip out is
Take the
Ram.
boat slip down to $10. So it stays.
and
Okay.
So if the boat slip stays in there, but just take it down. Is $10 the minimum you,
To keep it here.
to keep it?
We can flat something generally, but we like to leave the, if it's an item, we like to leave, you know.
Yeah.
$10 on it. So we know that it's actually supposed to be there.
The bidder, yeah. Okay.
and
So that takes the 25.50 down to 20, take out 25.40.
The, $140.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, the two comps show lease comp 3 and 4 on land show 97, 750 and 80,000. I still consider taking some part of the land value out. Maybe going from 115 to 97 or 98. It's treated as 10,000.
Square foot lot, yeah, it's at 97. Does that have the same views? You think?
So,
Okay.
okay.
All right.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion then on 2020, case ID 2021-909, account number 22875. When considering Q1 incorrect appraised market value and Q2 appraisal ratio exceeds the median level of appraisal or the equity value, that we lower the 2021 appraised value from 236,680 to 234,140.
So you're going to 234, is that what I'm understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
234, 140.
When it was 236?
Yeah. We're
Okay,
taking
they
out-
went down a couple of thousand.
We're taking out the boat ramp.
Okay, you're taking out the program. Okay.
Vote
And nothing on the cement comparison to the people,
No,
nothing for that.
no. Okay. Ray, is that work okay in the system?
I got it. Yeah, you guys give me the number. It's all I need. 234, 140.
234, 140.
Yeah.
Second, in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you guys for your time. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
All right, our next case is 990. It is a mother and son. They've been appointed as agent by Mr. Vasquez. And as I said, the son will do some interpreting.
990.
Yes, last name is Vasquez.
65798.
Do we need Josie for any reason? Do we need any help with interpretation?
No, I think the son
Will
can
be fine.
handle it.
Okay,
All right,
Yep.
ready for me to bring them back?
keep going. Come on.
Okay.
This is Q1.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
We go in. To the right, they go back here. So this is Jose Vasquez and Elder Vasquez.
Hello.
Good morning, good morning. We have some administrative we need to go through before we get started.
All right.
So if you just follow along with me, I'll ask some questions toward the end.
Okay.
We're opening a hearing on case ID 2021-990, account 65798. This hearing is being recorded. We have the appraisal review board that will be hearing the protest today. The board is at the table here. The appraisal district representative is back there. We do not work for the appraisal district. We are appointed to perform an independent review of your protest. At the end of the hearing, you may complete a survey regarding your experience. The survey may be completed using the survey form and emailed to ptad.communications@cpa.texas.gov or online at surveymonkey.com/r/surveyarb. Survey is voluntary. You also have the right to appeal our decision. Appeal information will be provided to you with our determination. You will get, at the end of the hearing, a document will be created, will be mailed out by regular U.S. mail. In accordance with tax code section 4145H, all written material that has not been provided must be provided at this time. We have all your evidence now, right?
Yes.
Okay. ARB members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest and are signing an affidavit to that effect. I, Charles Powers, do solemnly swear I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Robert Dayton, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66. Yeah.
I, Bill Duff, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Scott Wagner, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
All testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath.
Have her say that.
Okay. Oh, do I say?
You can say it first.
I, Vasquez, do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board is true and correct.
I am in the basket, just solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review court is true and correct.
Very good, thank you.
Yeah, I'm here to,
Very good.
translate.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
understand. That's okay, we got it. Mike?
Yes, my name is Michael Soto. I do solemnly swear to affirm this testimony or substance to be praised with people of prison, can be praised with true and correct.
The governor requires me to ask this, but you have a appraiser's license. Okay, page you have in front of you, that's how we're gonna manage the hearing. Okay, those times, this time,
Yes.
okay? Now, you get to choose whether Mike goes first, the district, or you go first. What would you like to do? Mike?
Yes.
Okay, Mike?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn off these lights so we can see this. So, the only thing protest is market value. If you look at your evidence, subject property owners going to present some stuff about the flooding. We're gonna get to that in just a minute. So let me just prove my case and then we can get to the flooding issue. Land adjusted is for flooding and is for flood and not paved. So if you'll see, this is, we've already got a 50% adjustment. You know, we've only got $13,000 on almost, it's like a little over an acre and a half. So it's really, really low right now. You'll notice that normally this stuff is 65 an acre. We normally produce the value of about 26,000. So we think we've already taken into account some of the flooding and the not paved issues for sure. You can see that there's this is already adjusted half. It's already adjusted. So, you know, as far as the district would be concerned, it would have to be like more than half flooded because, you know, or because it's at the end of, it is not paved dirt road. So that's taken into account, but then flooding would have to be extended. You can see that like this is the lot in question. Like if we were talking about this lot, this is pretty evident that there's some areas here that are, you know, if we were talking about that lot, I don't see any of that on the property. There is some flooding, but I think we've taken it into account, but we won't know for a little bit until they present. So go ahead and go to the subject comp sales. This is the only thing in the protest. These are the only sales I have in the city, or this is what I'm presenting to the city. Past, you have one on West Isle, sold for 26,000, and you have comp number 2 that sold for 18,700. You'll notice that the acres associated with each one of those is 1.1 and 1.19, 1.13 and 1.19. Those are giving you prices per square foot, basically, it breaks it down, and then it applies this. It applies this to the number of square feet that you have. So 1.589 acres is actually 69,217 square feet. So that's what the system does. Go to next. These are the other 2 comps. This is you have one on more, which is I'm sorry, one on more and one on young. The one on young is much bigger. You know, that's 5 acres instead of 1.5. So, but that one's still sold for that one sold for 55,000. You'll see that that's the smallest price per square foot. The reason for that is, as we know, the economy of size. The 2.421 is 37 cents per square foot. And if you go back, these are more in line with the size of the subject. They're 1.1 and 1.1 as opposed to 1.5. And these are 54 and 38 respectively. So the subject is only assessed at 19 cents a square foot. Now I think that, I don't know if that's the, I think that's the base price, because I have 1.19. We do this math real quick.
Yeah, looks about right.
1.5880 times 43,560 times 0.19. That comes out to 13,142. So it's close. That's with the adjustments. The 19 cents with the adjustment. So this is giving you the price that the subject is currently at. Although if you took this number 819 times 2, it would be 38, which is exactly where the median value is falling. So it's saying that all things given equal, these sales support a valuation of a fully good lot. Okay. The only thing different is if we'll go to pictometry, you can see that this is just a dirt road. Okay, it's a dirt road. Yeah, just a dirt road that people get down onto their property. The pavement ends right here, which is probably 1,000 yards or several hundred yards, you know, to this thing. 630 yards, 630 feet is where the pavement ends. So that's why this is a not paved road. It's already adjusted.
Okay, you have 2 minutes for cross-examination to ask him questions and then 5 minutes to make your presentation. I'll give you 7 minutes.
So there's the pavement's already in, adjusted, is what you're saying?
Yeah, we have a not paved, like we recognize that it's not paved, and we recognize that, I guess, the flooding. Is it in the account?
I can show it. Let me just show it to everybody so that we can all, it's right. It's right.
Sand Road. It just says Sand Road.
Oh, wait, I saw the note over here, Mike. Hold on. Am I in the right account?
And with that being taken, that's what makes it put the value on it.
Yeah.
Mike, it was in, where I read that was on, or where we read that was here.
Just in
This, yeah.
So what we have is a not paved. We have a Sand Road adjustment already. That's what I read.
Yeah.
on flooding as well.
Yeah.
But if there's so just to be sure, we have 50% just on Sand Road.
I think so. I think I saw it different when I made the packet. It was really flat, so
Okay, but going forward,
it should be 75%.
okay, so going, that's the point. I'm not, I don't remember.
Like if you're gonna do this, you know, if you're gonna do a new, and do not pay. You know, this one, it's 75.
Yeah, okay, so that's what I want to show that. Because that's the reason we should actually have 2 adjustments.
Yes.
Okay. And one should be 75 for this and 75 for flood, or 25. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about your pictures?
Yes.
I wanted to clarify something. So the 50% adjustment is really 25% of that is for not paid and 25% is for the plumbing. That's where the note comes from right here. But normally when you would just do a not paid, you would only get 25%. So it'd be a 75 on the card rather than 50. So the additional 25 is for flooding that maybe somebody told us in the previous year, I guess, because it's in the account right now. So, so if you were to go to a lot and say, hey, my lot's not paid, we would do the drop down of the not paid and it automatically calculates 75%. So that's a 25% discount. It should not be 50% discount.
Just for the paved road.
Yeah, so I guess that this is what they indicated to us in the previous, I guess. I just want to make that clear.
You can't do that. Thank you, Windows. Well, if you're trying to put a window partially on the screen where it's fully displays. Flashing effect. There's the size. You can resize the window width if you want.
Can you show us how much of the lot is covered by water by these pictures?
If you help with the map, maybe I could.
With pictometry?
Yeah. So. Can I go up there?
Sure, yeah.
Show us the whole lot, you know?
So right here, what she's saying is that this is where it floods the area. When it rains, like just right now, when it rained 2 weeks ago or so, and it rained really hard. So she would indicate that right here. Okay. What she's saying is that in this property right here, it's pretty deep. So like the water goes down and it runs to the road, to the sand road, which makes it even more complicated because it drops down all the branches. So here the trees that goes down and it floods here.
You can't get down the road.
Yeah, we can't get down the road because of the little deep area right here, this property. She's saying that the ditch ends somewhere right here, and so they meet up, makes it even go down further, and go far, obviously.
So where were the pictures taken? What are the pictures taken of?
Go ahead, yeah.
This one is in.
el terreno hacia afuera.
Can you go back to the map, sir?
Yeah, I got it. It's the,
Esta es de aquí.
yeah, you're looking
down the road.
down the
Down
road.
the road, looking down the property. You can see it back there.
Telephone
all over
poles.
there is the paved. That's how far it is.
Mhm.
And the other picture.
Oh, yeah. There's one more. It's looking the other way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Looking the other way. That's where she said is where the.
Somewhere right in here, there's a telephone pole mark. Where's that telephone?
Right there.
It's
Right here? Yeah.
And there's
That's where it's at.
So yeah, that right there. Uh-huh. That.
Yeah, so pretty much it's just that's the fact that we can't go down the road because of the
Mhm.
flooding issue. And we'll pave, it's not paved. Yeah, what she's saying is that now with how it's been raining, that we couldn't been going, we haven't had a chance to go down the road and mow the lawn, the grass, the area because of flooding.
Do any of the landowners,
let me ask.
oh, yeah, sorry,
Do any of the landowners,
take care of the,
yeah, do they maintain the road or anything like that?
Oh, well, we just cut the grass down here on this side.
Who's responsible?
That should be the city of Aransas, past or Aransas County. That was your question. Yeah,
Well-
essentially, yeah. Well, homeowners tend to take it on by themselves when they don't get a response from the commissioner and or the city official.
Yeah, well, basically, in this property, they don't really take care of their outside right here,
Yeah,
but we do, of course. We mow the lawn there, and we cut the branches and trim it down so we can see the road. But right here, they don't, but that's their.
you really enter the property over on the far side, right? that where you enter the property?
Yes.
Like way up there? Yeah,
Well, we have 2 inches
Yeah.
here and there, but we mainly use out.
yeah. Drier. So, just to be clear, there's no flooding on your land, it's just the flooding on the road that prevents you from accessing your land?
Yeah,
Okay, okay. Yeah, I think that's why we have that note specifically in there, and we've adjusted it 25% for a not paved road and 25% for the flooding that occurs for them not to be able to access it. I think it's okay. I think it's okay. But I don't know.
Okay, you have then Mike, 2 minutes for cross-examination and 2 minutes for rebuttal if needed.
What I would say is that I still think even with those problems, I still think that if you put this land on the market for 13,000, you don't own it in a week. I mean, you just don't. I mean, even if you tell them, hey, when it floods, you're not able to access your land, they're like, yeah, okay. It's an acre and a half. It's worth money. If it's on a dirt road, yeah, I don't care. I'm going to give you 13,000 for it pretty quickly. That's what I really think in the grand scheme of things. I think we've accounted for the problems that you had, meaning that normally this would be what 26,000, I guess, what we would normally have. Normally we would have 26,000 on this thing, and because it's not paved, we're taking off some, and then because it floods on the road to access the property, we've taken off some of that as well. I just don't know where else we can take it off. I mean, at the end of the day, it's an acre and a half in Aransas County, and we only have 13,000 on it. It just,
I get it.
yeah.
Lo que está diciendo es que, porque ya está rebajado todo. Ya está rebajado en la agua, que no está con carretera. No veo ninguna razón por trabajo. Porque ya.
No.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, you're.
No,
They need to fix it.
Thank you.
They just need to do it. And just kind of maybe get this guy right.
Yeah, they got it. It's all that stuff in the front.
Just ask him if he's interested.
Yeah. Yeah. Am I still on my time, I guess?
yes, you are.
So what I would say is that, like, I would encourage you to encourage your mom to contact her county commissioner, one, or contact the city official. I don't think she's in the city limits of Aransas Pass, is she? CAP, is she one of the entities?
Yes.
Okay, so she's in the city of Aransas Pass as well in the recent annexation. Contact the city official, contact the county commissioner, and try to get some action.
Yeah,
First.
yeah, she has. Well, my dad knows.
Okay. Second to that is, like, get with your neighbors. Like this guy right here, he looks, and I'm not talking about market value or anything. This guy's moving dirt around, right? And he's got a pond and he probably wants to pull dirt out. He's probably gonna put it up here. Hey man, let's put some dirt down here. Can you run your tractor down here and let's maintain this a little bit? That's the way, I mean, unfortunately, that's the way some of this stuff is done. And I'm not speaking for the appraisal district. I'm just telling you that I know that that's what I would do if I didn't get any action. At the end of the day, this is 1.5 acres and it's $13,000. Yeah. Just, that's all I got. I mean, I don't have anything more. I don't know what to do.
I don't see it.
Yeah, the only other thing I can think is if we applied the WPS code. Weird property.
Oh. Okay.
Who's up?
Who's up next?
Mike has a minute to close if you need it.
I think that the district is, at some point in the past, I can't, without looking at a whole bunch of records, I can't know when that adjustment was put in. A not paved adjustment would take it from 100% to 75. At some point, this information was disseminated to the district and we took an additional 25. So this acre and a half is now only $13,800. And despite all those problems, and I mean this with all sincerity, you put a sign in, you put a sign in your front yard for double this, and you're probably gonna get some action. You put a sign for 13,800 and you're not gonna own it by the end of the week. I mean, like in 2 days.
Yeah.
You don't own it because somebody's giving you cash for that. So, and that's what I believe. It's just my opinion.
Okay, do you have a minute for anything, final thoughts, or you want to tell us? Okay. All right, so we have 5 minutes to deliberate amongst ourselves here. I'm with you, I don't see any. It's already. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion then on case ID 2021-990, account number 65798, when considering Q1 incorrect appraised market value, that we leave the 2021 appraised value at $13,110.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Right.
Stay sure you know.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Thank you, Jose.
Thank you.
Practice for the full.
Okay.
My wife and I married.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
Young
It's really
Street,
awesome. We were looking
Ron
for
Gloria,
a place to
from
move.
Kyle,
For some property.
that land all getting bought out. So now,
This is back.
Don't touch this. not cheap, even though
Yeah,
there's like, it's,
Okay.
it's a good.
Somebody to advertise.
All right.
This, nobody fixes the roads.
Yeah, no.
You're gonna have to do it yourself.
But that's
man.
very.
They just, they're not gonna show up, they won't even fix the roads. In the middle of
Period
town.
house. That they had
You know,
moved
when
on
they're,
the
you know,
property.
they just
Okay.
don't.
Oh, yeah, well, we don't actually know how.
Property was 160 feet
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
As far as you had to go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, not a single tree. Yeah.
Didn't see where the water.
Wow. That's
Oh,
rough.
yeah.
208.
Yeah.
So how is that?
Yeah.
More than,
Right.
more than 10 acres deep.
Property is it's already.
Elevation. Yeah. I think it's, like Ray said, don't let it go under your below and try to get some commissioner or city of Aransas task officials to help you. If you can't, then Ray gave you, I mean, you should just give it your neighbors and try to get, what you can. Good luck. Thank you. Yeah.
All right.
Get the right in, all right?
Thank
Thank you,
you.
sir.
We taking a quick break?
Yeah.
Okay.
71.
5-minute recess, 71, home.
Oh, there's another case.
71.
Cool. Karma coin doubled overnight.
Did it?
2 cents.
You talking about Bitcoin?
Karma coin.
You know, at 2 cents though, it's, and the way this crypto stuff's going, it's almost worth it to just,
Throw a little money in.
it's almost,
Right?
I mean, it's 2 cents.
What if you,
What is it, Karma Coin?
Karma
Karma
coin
coin.
I have like some money to throw at something right now.
at 2 cents.
Shoot, I can't remember his name right now. The baseball pitcher that lives here.
Oh, Charlton.
Yeah, Norm. Norm's the one that told me about it. He's all jazzed about it. And I looked at it and I'm fascinated, but not going to throw money at it. But if you put, I mean, Bitcoin came out at 80 cents.
Yeah.
It came out at 80 cents. Think about that. If
Yeah.
this thing's at 2 cents and something happened.
I've got several thousand shares of Doge, so yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. I mean, there's no reason not to. I mean, it's kind of.
Yeah, I think
it's
so.
just, you know,
I think there's really no reason.
if you would take a few
Not at
$100 and
2
go to Louisiana or Vegas or wherever you
Right.
go and pull handles, I mean, it's sort of the same thing.
Yeah, maybe even better.
I would think so, because instead of
So to
you know,
leave,
you versus a machine, it's you versus people
yeah,
that have machines. So,
who were kind of excited to do it, you know,
yeah, and
they're motivated.
I haven't gotten off of the Facebook page yet, because these people are just, I mean, they're just like, every day, they're almost like religious. Every day, it doubled. And then there's some others going, I'm smelling.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's why.
Mr. Duck, we
Yes.
got back our letters that we sent.
Yeah, you got it back.
Well, we didn't realize that we couldn't put regular stamps on a priority envelope.
Get out of here.
Yeah, you have to
Oh,
actually.
because I got something in the mail yesterday.
The one we
The-
sent
the white envelope.
separately. Oh, okay. Well, we sent a separate one to Holiday. And then the
Everything
other,
comes to, I mean, we're all.
yes, yes. But the other three printed out in one number.
I thought.
So now we haven't met the requirements
Oh.
for 15-day notice or the 14-day delivery.
I see.
If you want to sign those, we'll keep this date. Otherwise, we'll put you down on a different one. So if you wanted to think about that,
I'll take it home and discuss it with Cindy.
Sure. that'd be great.
Let her and Paula and everybody figure out what we want to do. We just
Yes, you can just take all
need
that
to do
with you.
something with the two nightmare properties. We're stuck. Oh, two with breakfast. Yeah, well, there's two things in there. Nobody needs us to do. Next week, I just finally got a haircut. My cut lady she went skiing, bumped up her knee. She's been hobbling around. I guess she just had surgery. She's been out for a while.
Now this is this is it for the
8:30,
8:30?
yes. This is Garcia.
And then have we,
We have one for sure for the 10th, and I think that's probably it. And then a letter.
and then a letter.
One interesting thing that I read recently, regarding all of this crypto stuff.
Ready, we all are.
Blockchain and
Okay.
whatnot. There are people that have submitted amounts. Yes. Oh, you're watching, doctor. Never mind. That's a doctor, because I couldn't remember the time. There are people that aren't putting this into the will or informing family members that, so if something happens to it, well, you can't get into it because it's so encrypted and so,
Wow.
I mean, you got so many passwords and things to get to it,
Mhm.
then it just goes away.
Mhm.
And we're talking about billions.
Cryptocurrency.
That rock. Yeah, that's a good analogy.
At least a pet rock though is something physical that you can hold.
That's true.
Cryptocurrency is not even that.
All ready?
Yes.
This is Kathy Garcia.
Fine.
Ms. Garcia, this is Charlie Powers at the Appraisal Review Board. How are you this morning?
Just fine, sir. How you doing?
Pretty good. We have some administrative to go through before we get to the heart of the matter.
All right.
If you would just follow along with me, I have some questions along the way.
Okay.
we're opening a hearing on case ID 2021-71, account 64357. Hearing is being recorded. We are the appraisal review board that will be hearing your protest today. We do not work for the appraisal district. We are appointed to perform an independent review of your protest. The comptroller's office provides an electronic survey for you to offer feedback about your experience today that may be accessed at the appraisal district office or online at surveymonkey.com/r/survey-ARB. The survey is voluntary. You also have the right to appeal our decision. Appeal information will be provided to you with our determination. At the end of this hearing, a document will be created that will give all the particulars and tell you what you can do if you don't agree with us. And
Mr. Chairman?
it'll be mailed to you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just looked at the affidavit and it looks like just Mr. Max Garcia signed the affidavit.
Is Mr. Max there?
Okay, what, yes, he is here correctly, but it didn't state otherwise, so, he was the only one that signed at the time, but I was present at the time as well.
But you didn't sign it.
But
so
he
we
is
need
here,
Max.
he is here
Okay,
as well.
Max,
Do you need to speak to him?
yes, and Max needs to do
Okay.
the talking.
Okay, just a moment.
Okay,
There.
thank you, Bill.
They need to speak to you as well, then. Yeah, because you're the one that signed the application.
Hello, Max?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sorry, but you're the only one who signed the affidavit, so you have to do the talking.
Oh, really? Your wife, I'll let the wife, she's better off talking than I am.
I'm sorry?
He prefers me to do the speaking on his behalf.
Can't do that.
All right.
Sorry. That's the law.
Mhm.
That's the law. Okay, continuing.
That's fine.
In accordance with tax code section 41.45H, all written material that has not been provided must be provided at this time. I'm assuming that we have all your evidence, is that correct?
Yeah.
Like a read.
The ARB members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anybody about the protest and are signing affidavits to that effect. I, Charles Powers, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Robert Dayton, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Bill Duck, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.50F.
I, Scott Wagner, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
All testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath. I am under the assumption, Max, that you are under oath for the duration of this hearing since you signed the affidavit. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, my name is Michael Goddard. I do solemnly swear affirm that
Max, do you hold a license and a certificate from the Texas Appraisers Licensing and Certification Board? Are you an appraiser?
No,
No.
no.
Okay, thank you. Max, do you have the hearing procedure times available to you? It was a page with 4 columns on it. It was in part of the package that was sent to you.
Can you repeat that?
It's called hearing procedure time. Okay, well, if you can't find it, that's okay. We'll walk you through it. It begins with 5-minute presentation on your part or on the district's part. Who would you like to go first?
Yeah.
You can go first.
The district?
Yeah.
Okay, Mike? You got, you're up,
Okay, sure.
5 minutes.
What's interesting, the subject property sold for 328 and change. I think 2 things are in protest, is that right?
Yes.
Market value and equity, so we're gonna address both of those. Market value is pretty easy, it sold for 328 this year, in January of this year. You can see that, I'm gonna show you an error in the system, and the error is actually to the advantage of the property owner this year. I don't know how it happened, but we missed it, and it's not gonna happen next year, but let me go into the system right here. No, not in the system, I'm sorry, into the property card. Notice right here that come down, that there's no neighborhood right here. This is in the South Rock area. South Rock had a huge increase. Last year it had a value increase. It had something north of that, but this is feeding straight off of 100%. And it should be 146%. This is undervalued by 46%, like right off the tip. And the reason for that is for sales like this. These sales indicated the market value increase should go up. I don't know why this is missing, but it is. So it's a problem. It's a problem to the advantage of the property owner this 1 year. I'm affirming to you, Mr. and Mrs. Garcia, it's going up next year. It's going to go up. Having said that, all we have is 211 on the property. That's the base cost, the base of what we have. It obviously sold at 328. You'll go to the comp grid. You can see this property right here. This is sold for 328. This is the subject. There's no comps. But beyond that, what are some other sales that have happened here? This is another one that sold for 236. When adjusted with the subject, it's 249 and change. This other one right here is on Magnolia. That one sold for 173. It's a 3SS. It's both smaller and less class, and sold for 173. This adjusts out to 219. Just in looking at this, again, the 249 supports the 211 that we have on the subject property sold for 328. Market value is way good. Moving to equity, what are other 4FBs that are about the same size and about the same age? You can see that the median values, again, supporting the 211 that we have on the subject property. This is 4FB, 1236, 1248, 1248, 2016, 2015, 2005. They're all 5,000 square feet. They're all on the same streets, either Magnolia or Live Oak. Same thing with this one right here. It's on Live Oak. It's also a 4FB plus. 216, 211, 1236 as opposed to 1248. These are all right there, and they're very congruent. The value supported at the 211. Do I think that the property owners overpay for the property? Of course. Do we have it appraised at 328? No. Are they being underappraised from a market value standpoint? I will show this. Mr. Garcia, I did not present evidence for other than the card to show that there's a lack of a neighborhood being placed there. Will you allow me to show the difference?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, I'm testifying that that's factual, but that's okay. That's all I got.
Okay. Mr. Garcia, you have 2 minutes for cross-examination and then 5 minutes for your presentation, so I'll give you 7 minutes on the timer here.
Okay. But the property is in a flood zone. There is no potential for further development. And we got the house 1506 on North Live Oak Street and 1596 square feet at 191 720. And you got a property at 1111 South Church Street at 1,004 square feet for 188 120. And there's a lot of properties in the state of despair due to age and neglect within that area.
Yes, and the increase on the property of ours is over 35%. It's extremely high.
History. Change it.
Keep mine. No. Just on the land. Okay, anything else?
No,
Okay. Mike, you have 2 minutes then for cross-examination and 2 minutes for rebuttal. So I'll give you 4 minutes.
Right. In the cross-examination, just want to verify that you paid $328 for the property. That's directed at you, Mr. Garcia.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Yes, I just want to verify that you paid $328 for the property.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I have. I guess, is my rebuttal into this?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, as far as equity, what I have to show is a reasonable number of properties that are appropriately adjusted. In my equity comp grid, I have nothing. I'm sorry. Come over here so you can hear me. In my equity comp grid, all I have to show is a reasonable number of properties that are appropriately adjusted. All of my equity comps are 4FVs. They were all within 100 square feet of one another. They all had 5,000 square foot lots. They were all either on Live Oak or Magnolia. The value showed that I was right at the 211. So I think that this property is underappraised by a large degree, and the value that we have on it is low.
Okay, is that it?
That's it.
Okay. So, Mr. Garcia, you have 2 minutes for protest or rebuttal if you need them.
What do you want to? That's it? No, that's it.
Okay.
I just want to agree with, that's all. Jumping and they're gonna say it's gonna jump up next year again, I'll be fighting that again because I don't think it's, the houses around, especially the one behind us. All these houses behind us ain't appraised nowhere near, ours.
There's a lot of multi-family housing in that area as well.
Behind us and the side of us.
Which brings down the value and the property itself. Just by the areas that you have, there's a lot of areas where you have
Max
a
has to
house
speak.
and then you have a house.
Max has to talk.
Max has to speak.
That's it.
Okay. Mike, you have 1 minute for closing if you need it.
Yeah, what I would close with is there's two things that are protest: market value and equity. The district has shown, proven with reasonable number of comparable sales that are appropriately adjusted, that the value of 211 is supported. The value of 211 for this property is actually low. The only thing I didn't show was the sales ratio. We have 64 sales in the South Rock area, and we're at 101 overall in the weighted mean. The value's good.
Okay, Mr. Garcia, you have 1 minute. Any final thoughts that you'd like to tell us?
No.
Okay. All right, so we have our deliberation time.
Max,
Yes, sir.
what is the comment, there is no potential for further development need? What did you mean by that?
But he's trying to put on that area, let me just.
No. Max has to speak. Max has to speak.
You just fulfill me and I'll say it. There's no potential, for development in that area. But that's what he's asking, what do you mean by that? No, that's it.
Okay,
All right. I see no reason to change anything.
no, this is the hottest area in town,
Yeah.
isn't it?
One of the.
South Rock,
Yeah, one of the hottest areas.
hottest areas in town. Okay, I see no reason.
All right.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion then on case ID 2021-71, account number 64357. When considering Q1 incorrect appraised market value, or Q2 appraisal ratio exceeds the median level of appraisal or the equity value, that we leave the 2021 appraised value at $211,030.
Second,
I second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Max, it remains the same.
Yes.
Thank you for
Right.
participating. We're finished. Case closed.
Have a good day.
They're gone.
Okay, the next case is on the 10 o'clock docket, and it is case 347. Mr. Stevens is on the phone, and he did sign the affidavit.
What was the case number?
347.
347. 347.
Last question.
Last page. Is that one I-
Page 5.
Okey dokey.
Hello?
Mr. Stevens,
Yes,
this is Charlie Powers at the Appraisal Review Board. How are you this morning?
good, good. Could you hold on 1 second? Let me get my wife, up here and on this meeting.
Well, I just looked at the affidavit. He's the only one that signed.
David,
She can
Uh-huh.
you're the only one that signed the affidavit, so you have to do the talking.
Well, that's fine, but she's gonna be in on the meeting.
Right, she can listen in, but you have to do this, you have to do the talking. Because
Yeah,
you were the
that's-
only one that signed the affidavit, that's the only reason.
Okay, all right, yeah, you just give me 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it did. I don't remember when. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is a Q1, Mike.
Okay.
Okay, you guys there?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right, okay, she's on her way up, so I figured,
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Just don't agree. with
We have
that.
some administrative to take care of, so just follow along if you would. And I'll ask some questions toward the end. We're opening a hearing on case ID 2021-347, account 1532921. This hearing is being recorded. We're the appraisal review board that will be hearing your protest today. We do not work for the appraisal district. We are appointed to perform an independent review of your protest. The Controller's office provides an electronic survey for you to offer feedback about your experience today that may be accessed at the appraisal district office or online at surveymonkey.com/r/surveyarb. The survey is voluntary. You also have the right to appeal our decision. Appeal information will be provided to you with our determination. At the end of this hearing, there'll be a document created with all the particulars and sent out to you by snail mail. In accordance with Tax Code Section 4145H, all written material that has not been provided must be provided at this time. I assume we have all of your evidence. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. The ARB members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest and are signing affidavits to that effect. All right, Charles Powers, you solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F.
I, Robert Dayton, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F.
I, Bill Duck, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F.
I, Scott Wagner, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F.
All testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath. I am assuming, David, that you are under oath for the duration of this meeting as a result of you signing the affidavit. Do you understand?
Yes.
Thank you.
My name is Michael Soto. I do solemnly swear affirm that the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true. Correct?
David, do you hold the Texas appraiser's license?
No.
Okay. Do you have access to a document that was sent out to you? It was hearing procedures times. It's a 4-column.
Yeah.
Very good. And then at the top, you can see that you get to choose whether you go first or Michael goes first, the district.
Okay. At the top of the hearing procedure times?
Yes, there's one column for when the district goes first and one column when the protester goes first. So you get to choose whether you go first or the district goes first.
The district can go first, is fine.
Okay, Mike?
Right. What we have is basically a minimal value change from one year to the other. Last year, the whole value of the property was $824 and change.
I hate to interrupt, but it sounds like you're kind of far from the mic or something.
Sure.
I can hear the
We'll fix it.
whoever's.
Yeah, I'll come around, sir.
He'll move around.
Basically, and thank you, sir, for that. We have a minimal value change from one year to the next. We had 124 and change on the property last year. We have 134 and change on the property this year. You're going to see that the subject property.
834.
834.
What did I say?
134.
Sorry about that. 824 to 834.
Okay.
All right, we're going to start over now. All right, we currently have a valuation of 834 on the subject property. Last year it was 824 and change. What you're going to see is that this is a recent sale. The subject property owner is going to provide evidence that the subject property exchanged on the open market for $720. You got to buy, in my opinion. The thing under protest is market value. I'm only going to present our grid and our sales ratio, and that's all I'm going to present. That was the card. Here's the pictometry imagery. This is the subject property. Pool, multiple hip roof. You have both the canal, attribute, but you're right out here to Estes Flats area. It's beautiful, beautiful area. The subject property is one of the sales. As far as our information is concerned, I think it's $720 is what it transacted for. great buy. If that's the true price, that's a great purchase. The other sale that I have is in City by the Sea, that is for $650. Obviously, there's a difference in the land element. There's a difference in the size of the structure, just minimally. There's a difference in the effective age, that's adjusted. Difference in the classification for sure, that's a large adjustment. That one produces a value when compared with the subject to $800,000. Notice that we have the comp. Is the comp relevant? Is the subject sale relevant? It's always relevant. Even if it's lower, it's relevant, of course. This one's 720. That one's because that is the sale. This one is 800. The next one is off of Ocean Drive. This one sold for 1.034. This is a 6ST plus. This is a 6FB plus. They're pretty close in size. One is 30, almost 3083, and this is 3193. This is newer than the subject. There's a big adjustment there. This one renders a value of 996 when compared to the subject. How is this comparable? They both have views of Estes Flats. They both have view of the Intercoastal Canal because it's on Ocean Drive. Same thing. This one's on Ocean Drive. It's Intercoastal Canal. This one sold for $766,000. Again, another 6. This is a 6FB fiberboard party plane. This one's been highly renovated. You can see that, you know, the structure for the subject, if you pull this up a little bit. If you look at this house, you look at this house, you look at this house, you know, the multiple hip roof, and you have some multiple hips in the second one. This is more congruent. This one is an older party plank home that was renovated, you know, from 1977 to 2017. It's probably, most of the renovation is probably on the inside. You can see this is just a single gable roof. You know, that one sold, even that one sold for $766. So 720 is a great purchase. The median value of all of these things is 834 and change. That's the, you know, 834 is what the market is doing. The subject property owner bought it for 720. Great purchase. Continue on to the sales ratio. Well, go on. This is the, you know, this is the information associated with the subject. A little bit more right here. I don't know how many days it was on the market. It was coming off of that 720 of 7 of 20 was coming off of the COVID kind of crisis, and it's just starting to open up. And I don't know if it's been on the market for a while, and you know, I don't know. As far as the sales ratio, go back to the top, right? Sales ratio. We have Intercoastal Waterway, so it's going to probably be several things in City by the Sea, Bahia Bay, those areas right there. Go all the way to the bottom. Wow. 71 sales, we're at 1.03 overall.
Okay, David, you have now 2 minutes for protester cross-examination if you need them, and then 5 minutes for your presentation. So I'll give you 7 minutes on the timer.
Okay. Well, I don't need any kind of a cross-examiner. I'm not a lawyer, so
Okay.
I just need to tell you kind of where we stand and bring up some points, you know. But first off, I don't know if you guys know this, but this sale wasn't a normal sale. The previous owners were going through a terrible divorce, and so they had to bring in, and the judge had to get involved and elect a receiver to take care of this sale. So I know you mentioned several times it was a great buy, but there was a thorough market analysis provided for this property just because it had to be. It was a divorce, and so everybody had to be in agreement. So there was an analysis performed, and that's how they come up with the listing price of $700. Now, that also was the same price that the previous owners had bought it back in July of 2019. So it must have been a great buy back then too, because that's kind of what it sold for the last couple of times. And so in addition, you know, to us paying the $720, the appraisal that we had done on the property, outside of the market analysis that was performed on it, was $730,000, which is right in line with basically what their analysis was and what we paid for it and everything else. So, I'm not quite sure where the 834 is coming from. But also, if you go online and you can look at pretty much any site, any realty site on the property, and I'm not sure exactly how they come up with this, if it's previous sales or buys or what, but it's got an estimate of $704,000 online. So let's see. Also, I'd like to mention that right after the sale of the house, when we got online and seen what tax appraisal and everything was, we made a phone call to the county appraisal district and talked to one of the appraisers there, and about, what we had done and what it's shown on the tax value and what we paid for it and everything. And at the time, they told us that, there's not a whole lot that they can do anything with on 2020, but there would be an adjustment made on 2021. And it actually went up like 10,000. Now, one thing that I'd like to add too is the 800, you said that it was previously at 830 or 824, and from one year to the next it went up 10,000. Now, it never was challenged because you probably they had it was a veteran, what is that? He had some kind of an exemption on it, and their tax values was substantially lower for some reason. I don't remember exactly what it was. But our point is everything shows, a lot of these comps that you're talking about is, it's definitely not the same house. But I think the market kind of shows what this thing is by the appraisals, the thorough market analysis that was performed by the receiver on this property, and then what we ended up paying for it and what it's been sold for the last two times, 2019 and again in 2020. So we don't feel that value is correct.
Okay.
I think that's all I have.
Okay.
So Mike, you have 2 minutes for cross-examination and 2 minutes for rebuttal if you need them. So 4 minutes.
Yeah, as far as the cross, what I would say is that the subject property owner actually described more of a distressed sale because he actually said that the people were going through a horrible divorce. Those individuals, they want equity amongst the valuation, so they get valuation. They get a valuation service for the conditions that exist at the time that they're going through that marketing or divorce. I would say that the market conditions on January 1, which is when the last sale was for 700, the market conditions on January 1 of 2019 are different than they are of January 1 of 2021, which is the year we're in. So just to make a statement like, it's, the value should be good at 700 or 720. I don't know, I'd have some issue with that. As far as like it being on the open market, it was on the open market, no doubt. As far as the willing buyer, willing seller, you had an exchange. Fully informed and working in their own best interest, I don't know. Going through a terrible divorce, your hand is forced to some degree. But no doubt, it transacted at 720. I think it's undervalued at 720, but that's a data point for sure.
And the subject property was used in the sales grid.
It was used in the sales grid along with other sales along that intercoastal area. There was other transactions. I guess my best point is, let's go back to my sales grid. This is my best point. This is my sales grid.
I think.
Yeah, go to the sales grid. I want you to look at this house right here. And I want you to look at the subject. That one sold for $760, go down. $766,000. The land elements are almost identical. There's a $23,000 change there. It's much, it's a 6 FB that was like a single gable roof that's been, that's had some effective age change due to a remodel on the inside, I'm sure. But that's only 1,996 square feet. I mean, I'm saying that the subject is a good purchase, and this is why. That's the worst. Like if you're looking at the houses here and continue on. I mean, this is more commensurate with, the multiple hip roof, you're looking at this, that one sold for $730, okay? But that one is just a single gable roof and sold for $666, so I don't know. The subject property owner bought it for $720. I mean, there's no doubt, so. I don't have anything else.
Does he still have time?
Yes.
I have a question.
Okay.
I understand your point that this may not have been a normal sale because it was a part of this divorce. But the appraisal that was done for that had to have been valid. I mean, it couldn't have been swayed by.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But the thing that everybody knows, and this has been under testimony from a previous protester in a different hearing, appraisers know the transaction price prior to the appraisal assignment. That's the only
illegal for them to.
I
Sorry,
understand
I'm
that.
not supposed to be interrupting, but they cannot base their appraisal on that.
You are correct, sir. They should not. You are correct.
They cannot. They risk losing their license.
You are correct, sir.
The USP, what was it called?
USPAP standard.
USP.
You cannot come to a predetermined condition. You cannot come to a predetermined opinion of value. You are correct. And this is an appraisal date as of the date of the sale, for sure. But I want you to go in to, I'm trying to answer your question, sir. Let's stop right there. Did the subject property appraiser know the transaction price? Did he know? Of course, it's in the report.
I can't see what you're pointing to. I'm sorry, I can't.
Sales contract price, $725.
Okay. Sales contract price.
Did the subject property? Yes, you're correct. I'm not disagreeing with you. They should not.
I'd like to just bring something else up to it if I've got 1 second. I'm not sure if this is the time or
You
what,
have 2 more minutes.
Okay, so in addition to the appraisal, do not forget that there was a fair market analysis performed on this property, because you try to discount the fact that it's a horrible divorce, and they just we had sellers that were trying to get, one of the sellers that was trying to get the highest possible price she possibly could, because she did not want to sell the property. So I can assure you it wasn't just unloaded or as cheap as they possibly could to get out of it. So the receiver had her work cut out for her to come up with the fair price to list this property at. And it was done thoroughly. So, and it all lines up to what our appraisal come back with, what it had previously sold at. There's so many things in line to prove the fact that what the property is worth. I mean, using a piece of property that was sold for $600 and something thousand, my response to that is they overpaid. I don't know what else to say, because maybe they didn't do this analysis. I have no idea on those properties, but I can say on this one, it was thoroughly reviewed to come up with a sales price, appraised at what this around the same price as what we paid for it. I mean, to me, this is clear. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Mike, you got 1 minute to close?
Yeah, as far as other sales in the medium value, which is what we would do, even if the subject property sold for more, we would throw it in to the mix and we would put other comps in there. We would still go to the median values as support for our valuation that, you know, we would still use a number of other sales. This one sold for less, obviously. I don't have anything further.
Okay, David, you have 1 minute to close. Any final thoughts that you want to tell us?
No, I just really would like to reiterate on how thorough everything was to come up with the sales price and how we ended up paying, you know, what we did for it. You know, I wouldn't like it to end on we just got a hell of a deal. I think the work and research was done, and it came up with a good price, and that's what we paid for it. And that's what the market says it's worth.
Okay. So it's our time to deliberate.
7:30. For the appraisal.
Yeah, I kind of see both sides here, but.
I would say 7:20. I mean, and even with the district's evidence has it on the sales rate.
Yeah.
Which is in a, you know, in that quote window. And then that's my problem.
I can go there. To me, it doesn't really matter, 7:20, 7:30.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I can go with it.
I'm going to go
Bill,
7:20, Bill?
Yes,
7:20?
yes.
Okay. Motion.
Okay, so on case ID 2021-347, account number 15321, when considering incorrect appraised market value, I move that we lower the 2021 evaluation from 834,430 to 720,000.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, David,
Yes, sir.
did you hear that?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
All right, we're done.
See you next year.
Case closed.
See you next year. All right, thanks.
You bet.
All right, that's all the hearings for today.
For today?
Yes, yeah, we
The
don't
whole
have
day?
any, right, we don't have any this afternoon.
Yeah, right.
And then,
No, I'm not saying anything. I just, you know, I'm gonna look at the data next year and go with what it tells me.
Sure.
That's all you can do, yeah.
That's all you can do.
there's a letter to be read, and then I've added
I
the
thought you said we
agenda
were done.
with the hearing. Another agenda item 4, if that's okay, Mr. Chairman, if you want to look at that after the letters and see if you want to entertain looking at a revised notice of hearing.
Okay.
Okay.
One other thing to that, we had, Mr. Carr. It was the agent who person that signed, and then the agent wanted to talk, but.
Roan.
Roan. Mr. Roan called for me, or did he call for
He
the
called
chair?
and asked for Beth, and we told Barbara just to take a message
Okay,
because Beth didn't feel like she could talk to him and help him in any way.
so she handed that to me, but was the last, just so I'm clear, the last correspondence that we've had with Mr. Roan has been a letter that he wrote to the ARB, and the ARB made a decision and responded to him?
Yes.
Okay, so we're not really sure if he's trying to contact the ARB or if he's trying to contact me. I just wanted to say that out loud because we've had a phone call. So I do have his number. I don't know. I don't know how you want me to handle it. I'd be glad to call him.
Well, if he called to talk to you or one of your appraisers, go ahead.
They called to talk to Beth, who was the scheduling person.
Oh,
And she would have been the one that probably put the letter from the ARB, which is the last correspondence by the ARB. That's the reason I'm mentioning it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just read.
you can
it
talk
forward.
to him.
Huh?
You can talk to him or have Val talk to him.
Okay,
I shouldn't talk to him.
okay.
My head is, I'm dizzy because we could figure out, you know,
Right.
what happened first and blah, blah, blah. And this other letter came in, and anyway. I'm sorry.
So here we go again.
Is this another, the same one?
No, it's a different one, but, so this is a letter from Brittany Wright of Wright Custom Cabinets here in Rockport. Was received by the district June 9th. The letter is not dated. So dear ARB, the reason for this letter is to request an extension on my deadline for a filing protest. I received the notice in the mail on June 2nd, 5 days past my deadline. The date on the notice says April 28th, so I know it was sent in a timely manner. I'm completely blaming the mail system on this. I, along with most people, have had horrible mail service since COVID. We own a business and customers will mail us a check we receive 4 to 6 weeks later. In no way would I have received this and sat on it for weeks with zero action. I would greatly appreciate an extension to get this protest filed. Thank you, Brittany Wright, address, phone number, property ID 28363.
Did she include any, a copy of the envelope with the postmark?
No, no.
Be interesting to know if that came from the same place as that other one we dealt with, whether it was the Amarillo group or the Dallas group.
Yeah, there's no evidence to show.
We denied the other one.
Forgot. No, I think we might have given them a date, actually. But I forgot. I don't quote me on that.
There was a letter we acted on, I think it was yesterday.
Okay. No, we didn't have any letters.
Okay, then it was the day before.
Day before.
Mhm.
It was the people in Ocean Springs, Mississippi.
Yes.
That had a letter that came through San Antonio,
Right.
dated May the 15th.
What do we do with that? What was it?
You approved
We
that one.
approved it.
We approved it? Well, we should be consistent.
Consistent and approve this one then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna make a motion then on property ID 28363 belonging to Wright Custom Cabinets that we allow them a hearing due to late May.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Done?
What timeframes do they have? Do they get, you send them a letter and they get a certain period of time to?
Well, like I contacted the lady from Ocean Springs, and I will reach out to Brittany because we want to get the protest in as quickly as possible.
Right.
Not wait for we still do send a letter as well, but not wait on it for
Okay.
some action.
Not with what we've seen.
Well, in both cases, we don't, we have a protest by the actual letter. Like we have a person saying to the ARB that they want to protest. So that's a protest.
Yeah.
We can actually enter the protest. We just don't have, we want the protest form to make sure that we're checking all the right boxes.
Sure.
So that's the reason that we reach out to those individuals. We need it as quickly as possible. I
Yeah.
mean,
All right, so I did add an extra item to the, well, it's not an extra item, but agenda item 4, this would fall under. And I'm proposing a couple of tweaks to the notice of protest hearing.
Okay.
So I've got an original in there and then a proposed. And I can just read off what the original says.
Yeah, why don't you just tell us?
This is under telephone conference call. right now, number 1 says, a notarized written affidavit with your evidence must be sent to the Aransas County Appraisal District before your hearing. The affidavit is a completed and signed Form 50-283, property owner's affidavit of evidence to the Appraisal Review Board, which is included in this packet. This form must have your notarized signature. I'm proposing that we add a little more language in there to clarify that they each must sign, any person planning to speak. So it would read as such: a notarized written affidavit with your evidence must be sent to the Aransas County Appraisal District before your hearing. The affidavit is a completed and signed Form 50-283, property owner's affidavit of evidence to the Appraisal Review Board. A blank affidavit is included in this packet and must be completed and then signed by each person that plans to speak. This form must have your notarized signature.
I like it. Yeah. Maybe, and you got space for it. Each person that plans to speak at the protest hearing.
Okay, at the protest hearing on it,
Okay.
or at the hearing.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So read it one more time.
All right. A notarized written affidavit with your evidence must be sent to the Aransas County Appraisal District before your hearing. The affidavit is a completed and signed Form 50-283, property owner's affidavit of evidence to the Appraisal Review Board. A blank affidavit is included in this packet and must be completed and then signed by each person that plans to speak at the hearing. This form must have your notarized signature.
It still leaves a little bit to be desired from the standpoint that it's not clear, because people may say that this is a blank form. Are we supposed to both supposed to sign this? Or does it say, or did I just miss the part where you make a copy for each member, and each person planning to speak must have their own individual affidavit?
Well, we accept them if they sign in front of the notary and both property owners sign it.
Oh, okay, so
Together,
we
we
have
take
a
that.
space for that, or they
And
can.
they just sign on top, one above the other.
That's okay. As long as it's okay, then we can do it then. Then what you just said, what you just read is okay then.
Is there any question about multiple sign? I'm not gonna go there.
Well, that's what she just said. They can multiple signatures on the same affidavit.
Yeah, and my question is there a problem where do they need two notaries, one to sign, one for each signature if there were multiple ones or blah, blah, blah?
Then they have to,
No. If one notary will sign, will
As-
suffice
yes.
for both.
As long as the notary is okay with it, and she would put that each appeared and signed. I have one more change, and it's under video conference. Right now, we say to follow steps 1, 2, and 3 above, which is the telephone conference call, which talks about the affidavit, the evidence, and then we don't say to follow number 5, which is you must call in first to 361-729-9733 at the time listed above. And the problem with the Zoom is there's no timestamp. If someone just appears in the waiting room, we don't know what time they appeared there. And in order to do first come, first serve, we really need for the person to call in and we sign them in and give them the Zoom instructions. That's generally how we try to do it, but it's not on the notice of hearing it that way. So I propose to change the sentence under video conferencing from follow steps 1, 2, and 3 above to follow steps 1, 2, 3, and 5 above
Telling them you must call in.
to call in.
Okay.
And this is only to satisfy the first come, first serve.
Yes, that's
Okay.
the reason for
So
that.
it's not a huge deal. It's just, it may be important to the property owner. Hey, I've been in this thing waiting for a while. It's just satisfying that question. It's just pointing, it's addressing the first come, first serve basis.
Right, and if we don't change it, then if someone shows up in the Zoom waiting room, when we see them, we'll go ahead and mark them down. But we can't say for sure that somebody called in before that person appeared in the Zoom and,
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Okay, I have a couple of suggestions.
Okay.
And these are just really dense, so it's not. On the telephone conference,
Mhm.
can we swap 4 and 5? In other words, maybe 1, 2, 3, what you had is 5 before, and just swap them around. And the reason to do that is so that then it makes it just slightly easier to follow steps 1 through 4, rather than 1, 2, 3, and skip 4 and go to 5 kind of thing. It's a minor thing, and and I don't see anything that precludes 5 being before 4 as a problem. The second thing is your bold on number 5 says you must call in. I would also bold first.
Okay.
Because you get the people that say, I was waiting for you to call. Those are the incidents.
What number is that? What number is that second thing you just said?
On the telephone conference call, it says you must call in first, but the word first isn't bold, just the first part of it.
He wants to switch 4 and 5.
That's one thing, and then the other is to just extend the bold to the word, include the word first.
How about you include the word first and put it first, you must call?
That's another option, sure.
Like, first you must call us, period, in bold by itself. How about that?
Okay, you must call in.
No, first you must call us.
Yeah.
Period. In
Simple.
bold, and then the rest of it is at the time listed.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
Simple.
And swapping 4 and 5.
Okay.
Okay?
So first you must call us, or first you must call 361-729-9733.
I like the second
I
one.
like the number, yeah.
Yeah, I like the second. The second one that you said.
Okay, where we put the number.
I mean, this is y'all's decision, but I like the second.
More specific.
And probably no period.
No.
First, you must call 361-729-9733 at the time listed above.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so I guess we would need a motion on those changes.
Okay, I move that on the proposed notice of hearing in the second sentence in section 1, and the video conference requirements where it says follow steps 1, 2, 3, and 5 above, that we make the changes discussed here in the last 15 minutes.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, you are free for the weekend.
Motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn. You guys.
Second.
Well, I thought he had to do that.
Second?
I'll second.